Welcome back, my Chalawalas. This is a video called "The Universe is Way Bigger Than You Think." I'm going to give my reaction to it. Just in general, I love science. I love the idea of outer space and all the different planets and stars and shit. So this should be very entertaining to me. But yeah, let's get into it. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and here we go.
This is a real-life lore video made possible by Squarespace. Make your next move with a beautiful website from Squarespace. This is Earth. You live here on this planet somewhere, and everything that you've ever known is located right here. But just how small exactly is Earth when compared to the scale of the entire universe? Let's start by zooming out to where we can see our nearest cosmic neighbor, the Moon. You may think that the Moon is very close to Earth since it dominates our night skies, but in reality the Moon isn't this close to our planet, it's actually about this far away. 384,400 kilometers away from you right now on average. You could fit 30 entire Earths in between this distance, and if you somehow were able...
So I was watching a video the other day that said that you could fit all the other planets in our solar system in between the Earth and the Moon. So yeah, it's out there.
To drive a car at a constant 100 kilometers per hour speed, it would take you about 160 days to drive the entire distance. Despite this...
Why do I feel like that's not that bad? 160 days to drive to the Moon?
Incredible distance, however, 12 humans have actually set foot here, representing the furthest away that any individual human has ever been away from the Earth, and one of humanity's greatest achievements. This is what the Earth would look like from there if you were standing there with them, and if you wanted to communicate with somebody back at home, it would take a message about 2.5 seconds to travel between you and them, since that's how fast the speed of light can travel at.
Oh, there you go.
This is a photo that was taken on Mars, and that tiny dot that you see there is Earth as seen from the Martian surface. On average, Mars is an incredible 225 million kilometers away from Earth, but that distance can be as high as 401 million kilometers. That means that whenever humanity finally gets around to landing a human on the planet, that person will be 986 times further away from Earth than the astronauts who landed on the Moon were. In addition, the time delay for sending a message from Mars back to Earth isn't just 2.5 seconds, it's actually more like 20 minutes each direction, which would render instant communication in the event of an emergency impossible. When we zoom out even further away,
An emergency? I mean, who cares about how long the message gets there? I mean, if there's an emergency where they would have to like send something to you, you're screwed no matter what. It don't matter that half hour or whatever it said. But yeah.
We can find the Voyager 1 space probe, which is the furthest away man-made object from Earth. It is currently located 138 AUs from the Earth, AU meaning astronomical unit, which is the distance between the Earth and the Sun, which means that Voyager 1 is 138 times further away from us than the Sun is. At some point on its long voyage, Voyager 1 turned its camera around and took this photograph. It may not look like much at first, but in my opinion, this is the greatest single photograph ever taken in all of human history. This tiny, pale blue dot is Earth, and I don't think that anybody has ever said something as amazing about this as Carl Sagan when he said, "If you look at it, you see a dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever lived out their lives. The aggregate of all our joys and sufferings, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and every forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilizations, every king and every peasant, every young couple in love, every hopeful child, every mother and every father, every inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Voyager 1 is currently traveling at 17 kilometers every single second, but even at that speed, it won't break out of the reach of our solar system for another 30,000 years. Once we go beyond the...
So, like, that might be like amazing information, but I think it's kind of depressing. That means there was really no use in us sending that out there. Because we're going to eventually lap, or not lap it, but go past, like the big thing in the future will be us basically recovering the Voyager and shit. Because we'll have shit that could go way further out than it. So it's like, it won't really be a big deal or even practical anymore for us to hang our hopes on it finding something, because we'll just be like, we'll have shit that goes, like I said, past it, so whatever. And that'll be the big thing, like, oh, we brought the Voyager back. Anyway.
The solar system, we arrive in our interstellar neighborhood. Here we shift to the light year unit of measurement.
What the fuck are all these places? Blue, Cyrus, I heard of Cyrus. Alpha Centauri, yeah. And then there's Erie, or Hades. Oh, there's a Hades. There's a gem. Alright. Actually, it doesn't seem like too much is around us. I mean, all these little, stars or whatever, but...
Which is the distance that light travels in a full Earth year, or about 9.461 trillion kilometers. The star Proxima Centauri here is the closest other star to us other than our sun.
Alright, I like how they put the direction of the sun, so we know exactly which way, like, the entire solar system is flowing towards. So I like how they put that in there.
But it's still 4.24 light years away from us. To put that into perspective, if it was heading in the right direction, it would still take Voyager 1 over 70,000 years to reach it. In other words, if you drove your car at 100 kilometers an hour like in our previous example to the moon, it would take over 6 times longer than the entire age of the universe is just to finally get there, and it wouldn't even exist still when you arrived. When we zoom out even further, we can see the entire Milky Way galaxy, inside of which Earth is located right here. This yellow dot is the furthest extent of humanity's radio broadcasts throughout history, which means that any possible aliens who live outside of this range are totally unaware of humanity's presence.
See, I know something like this is supposed to get us, into the wonderment of space or some shit, but to me, it's having the opposite effect. It's like making me feel like, why bother? You know what I mean? Like, our time would be so much better spent just trying to perfect what we got going on here than to try to, go way the fuck out there especially when our technology isn't all the way up to snuff yet. Because by the time you left here and you got to someplace, it would almost be the same problem with the Voyager. There would be another ship passing that ship because by then they already got something faster. So it's almost like we have to wait until we have the absolute fastest thing we can possibly get. Because otherwise, we're just going to be surpassing an earlier mission any damn way. So, so that's... I don't think we'll make any meaningful space exploration, especially outside of the solar system. Well, mainly outside the solar system. We'll do shit within the solar system, but outside the solar system, that shit's like 100,000 years off for it to be meaningful anyway. Alright.
It's complete silence outside of this yellow dot as far as we are currently aware, but the entire galaxy spans over 100,000 light years from end to end. There are over 100 billion stars and over 100 billion planets inside of our galaxy.
For some reason that seems like a low number. I mean, I know 100 billion is a lot, but I would think something closer to trillion, but 100 billion, that's still respectable. We're still a respectable galaxy.
You have never seen the full glory of the galaxy at night, because 99% of the stars that you can see with the naked eye are limited to this small, tiny region right here.
I just wish we could see the middle part, like that big-ass fucking middle part there, with where the supposed black hole is and all that type of shit. That would be cool if we could at least see that.
Sure. But even this massive galaxy is nothing compared to the rest of what's out there. Zooming out even further and we arrive at the local group of galaxies, a collection of 54 different galaxies that is about 10 million light years across. But
Holy
zooming out
shit.
even further and we can see the Virgo supercluster, of which the local group here is just a tiny segment of. There are at least 100 other groups of galaxies just like our own local group inside of here, and the distance from one side to the other is a mind-numbing 110 million light years. But even the massive Virgo supercluster is nothing but a quiet and tiny lobe of the Great Laniakea supercluster, an enormous structure that is home to our galaxy as well as 100,000 other galaxies. The distance from one side to the other is 520 million light years, but from even there we can zoom out all the way to the entire observable universe and see that even the titanic Laniakea supercluster is just a tiny and insignificant part of everything. This is the observable universe, and it contains everything that we know of. It is home to at least 2 trillion different and individual galaxies, which together...
Galaxies, not stars, galaxies. And then, like they said, like 100 million, 100 billion stars in each one, hundreds of billions of planets in each one. God fucking damn. And we'll never get to any of those. We'll barely get to fucking Alpha Centauri. Like, I mean, it's actually depressing. That just means there's so much shit that we're never going to see. Especially if it's contingent on on how well we get along with each other on Earth, and if we don't nuke ourselves before anything meaningful as far as space exploration could happen. We'll see.
Together contain more stars than there are grains of sand on the entire Earth. The distance from Earth to any side of the observable universe is 46.5 billion light years, which means that the entire width is 93 billion light years across. What's perhaps even more interesting, however, is what actually lies beyond the observable universe. Keep in mind that the observable universe is all that we can currently see, and it's entirely possible that the rest of the universe outside of it is vastly larger and more fantastic than we can possibly...
We gotta find wormholes. There's gotta be a way to do wormholes, because that's really our only way to reach any of this shit. Like, even the shit that's close to us, like, we're gonna need a wormhole just to get to those places. Either that, or instead of trying to travel space, we try to just straight up go into different dimensions. Because at least theoretically, a different dimension is right here, and we just have to, I don't even know what, side swipe our dimension to get into theirs or whatever. But yeah.
Ever imagine. We simply don't know what else is out there because the light from these incredibly distant places has not yet had enough time in the universe's history to reach us yet back on Earth. And the light from some places may never reach us at all. Because some parts of space very far away from Earth are expanding away from us faster than the speed of light, that means that the light from these places will never, in an infinite amount of time, reach Earth. Meaning that...
I wonder what that means, faster than the speed of light. I thought the speed of light was as fast as it was.
Even if humanity is eternal and exists forever, there will still be an unknown number of places in the universe that we will never know about or ever see. So, it is very likely that as unbelievably enormous as it seems, the observable universe is just a tiny slice of what we can currently see of the entire universe. According to the theory of cosmic inflation that was proposed by Dr. Alan Guth, if it is assumed that cosmic inflation began at 10 to the negative 37th of a second after the Big Bang, and with the assumption that the size of the universe before inflation began was equal to its age times the speed of light, then this would seem to suggest that at the present day, the entire universe is 150 sextillion times larger than the observable universe. That number for reference looks like this, with this many zeros. Let this number sink in for just a moment. This would be similar to you thinking that the entire observable universe, everything that you could see, was the size of a light bulb, but then realizing that in reality the entire universe is larger than the former planet of Pluto. Imagine a light bulb in the center of Pluto, but we inside the light bulb were totally unaware that Pluto existed outside of it, and that's a similar situation to this. We are all so unbelievably small, but you shouldn't worry, because all that means is that there is so much left out there for us to discover together.
Yeah, right. We ain't discovering none of that
This video
shit.
was made possible by Squarespace. If you're wanting to
We'll
create
get to,
a
like,
new website for your next project, Squarespace is the
Pluto or some
easiest
shit.
way of
Maybe
doing
we'll
it.
find something
I've used them before for several
that's
different
technically in our
projects, and what I
solar
think is
system
best about
area
them is that you don't
beyond
need any
Pluto, but
programming skills in order to make
man.
a beautiful website. It's incredibly easy and can be done in just a few minutes.
I mean, Alpha Centauri. I mean, that's the closest one, and like I said, did I say it? Like 10,000 years, but yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's fascinating. If it's something you never think of, I guess this would be kind of an inspirational video to watch, because it's like, wow, you know. But to me, it's just like, it sucks. That means we're not even anywhere close. I mean, by the time we're ready to do all that shit, we won't even necessarily be human beings anymore. We'll have evolved to be some other fucking creature by then. So human beings technically aren't going nowhere. we're not going anywhere. Whatever the next level of us is may get out there, but us, the way we are now, hell no. Alright guys, I'm getting long on this video. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll hit you in the next one. Bye-bye.